get started. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our 悬空大卦 date selection program. Very excited to have all of you here. So before we start, as usual, just a few quick notes to make sure the session flows smoothly. To keep the sound clear, everyone except me will be on mute. So don't worry, you can still participate just in a different way. So if you got any questions, reflections, or something you want to share, just click the chat icon at the bottom. I think for some of you, maybe on the right side. You just click to toggle open and close the chat box, which is also on the right side. Okay, so very simple. And the entire session is being recorded, so you can come back anytime, seriously, anytime to revisit all the insights. Yeah, so feel free to drop your thoughts, questions, and whatsoever in the chat anytime. I'll keep an eye on the chat box and respond as we go along. So don't worry. So for those who are first time here with me, a little bit about myself. My name is Kun Leong, Yo Kun Leong. I'm an eating life coach, trainer, and author, and I've been helping people create powerful and lasting change for over 14 years. What I love doing is combining modern life coaching with ancient eating wisdom. Basically, I help people unlock what's already inside them. Basically, clarity, potential, directions, things they may not even realize they already have. People tell me I make eating very practical and life changing, not just theory. So really, and can really apply in everyday life. So I do this through consultation, workshops, books, and online content. And my mission, very simple, to make a meaningful impact every day and to make eating simple, useful, and accessible to everyone. So very excited to share with you today and guide you through the amazing world of 悬空大卦 date selection. Okay, I always like to start every class, workshop, or seminar with just two very simple learning house rules. Rule number one, don't believe a thing I say. Yes, you heard me right. Don't just take my word for it. I want you to test it, reflect on it, and apply it in your own life. Date selection. Only when it makes sense through your own experience, then you can keep it. Otherwise, feel free to throw out the window. Yeah. So that way, your learning becomes real, not just theory. Rule number two, learn with a growth mindset. That means come in with an open heart and curious mind. Even if something sounds unfamiliar, a bit old school or too simple, just stay with it. Yeah, because sometimes the biggest breakthroughs come from the things we tend to overlook. One more, just a quick disclaimer, because I always like to keep things transparent. Your level of success in getting the results we talk about today really depends on a few things. First, how well you understand the fundamentals and techniques we cover. There are quite a number of eating fundamentals and techniques that we're going to cover today. So I need you to stay on top of those fundamentals and techniques. So second, your own circle of competence, meaning how comfortable and experienced you already are with this subject called date selection. And third, the time and effort you're willing to put into the training and practice. So, of course, these things are different for everyone. That's why I cannot guarantee any specific results, and I'm also not responsible for the action you take after this session. But what I can promise you is that if you stay open, practice what you learn, and apply it consistently, you'll start to see your own insights and results unfold naturally. All right, before we dive deep, let me give you a quick big picture first, because if you don't see the whole map, you may get lost in the details. Now, this program is designed step by step. So not random one. So the next module is built upon the previous one. So module one, introduction. We start simple, basically touching on what is 悬空大卦 date selection, not just picking any dates, it's about timing with structure. Then we move on to module two, solar calendar, very important. If your calendar that you use for this selection is wrong, using this system that teach you, then everything is wrong. So we use solar timing, not guesswork. Okay, so module 3, hexagram. Now, we go deeper. We'll talk about the 64 hexagram, not just the symbols. They carry element energy, they carry period energy, they carry yin yang energy. So this will be your core language for this 玄空大卦 date selection. So not to worry, we are not going to go through making you memorize all the 64 hexagram. No need. Okay, no need. And then we move on to module 4. Module 4 is we start to evaluate already. Okay, evaluate the date. So this one is foundation. You learn how to check for any date, the 5-element flow, the stem and branch interaction, the clash detection, and many more. So if this one wrong, whole date gone. Okay, gone means it's bad lah. Module 5, match with the units. Okay, match with the units. They mean aligning date and the building. Now we bring in the earth part, the building. You match the day, that means that day and time with the unit. So if it's a mismatch, the timing probably won't support that unit or the place. Right? So this is important evaluation point also. Then we move on to module 6, match with the person. Now we add in the human element. 天地人嘛, we always want to have a 天地人感应嘛, so we want to add in the human element as well. So the person must benefit from the date, right? And not just a good date, but you must be able to benefit from the date. And module 7, period number. Now we talk about this timeliness layer. So for those who have learned the flying star, you know we always talk about timeliness of the star, timeliness of that, or untimeliness of whatever star, So in 玄空大卦 date selection, there's also something called the timeliness. But I'm not giving it a lot of attention on this timeliness part because it's very difficult to get on. Okay, so as long as whichever evaluation checklist that I'm going to share with you before this timeliness, if you get 80-90% out of it, that day is considered very good already. Okay, and if you can get the timeliness correct, that is bonus. That is how I see it. Okay, I may be wrong, but that's how I see it because it's very difficult to get timeliness. Okay, so for this timeliness, why do we want to go for timeliness is because if you get it right, the result can be very fast and can be very lasting also. All right, so you learn a lot of things inside this module 7, which I think it will be tomorrow. Yeah, then we move on to module 8, putting everything together. So now everything combined. Yeah, in the earlier modules before module 8, we learn components. So module 8 onward, we will put it together and then combine. So we have to look at assessing the date. Is that date good, stable, unstable, or clashing date? You need to know the date by itself. And then once you know that that date is okay, can use, good to use, we match it to the unit. And not only match it to the unit, we must also match it to the person. So you learn how to filter properly, not guessing, agak. Then module 9 will be some case studies and practice. That's finally the real world thing. Because theory without practice, no point. So we test good dates, we test bad dates, we test real scenario. So we can confidently say this date can use or cannot use. So you see, this whole program is not just knowledge, it's a system on its own, a date selection system on its own. So just follow step by step because this is actually very easy to learn, very easy to apply because there's no, I would say not that very difficult gray area, unlike doing prediction whereby it can be this, it can be that. This 玄空大卦 date selection, if there's clash, means there's clash. You get what I mean? If there is a 五黄, there's a 五黄. No two way about it. So don't have to guess gray areas. So that's why I love this system, is because it's very straightforward. Sound good? So are you ready to get started and make this journey both enlightening and practical for your daily life?